I'd like to call to order the work session for the Mount Vernon City School District. Today is January the 13th, 2026, and I would like to say Happy New Year to each and every one of you. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Trustee Brown. Trustee Kelly. Trustee McDonough. Trustee Middleton. Trustee Peterson. Trustee Scott. Trustee White. VP Mitchell. President Maribel.
Present.
We have a quorum. Student Trustee Adora.
Thank you so very much. We'd like to just get started. I hope everyone had a fabulous end of 2025 and walked into 2026 with a new purpose and a new energy. So welcome tonight. We will begin with the superintendent's budget survey results. Dr. Strickland?
Max? No.
That's the treasurer's report. We need the
one.
presentation for the superintendent. Should have children on the front.
Great evening, everyone. President Maribel, Vice President Mitchell, board trustees, students, families, our staff, both at home and present, and the greater Mount Vernon community. Thank you all for attending this evening's presentation, where I will be reviewing results from our budget priority survey, which was available to the community from December 4th through December 19th. Next slide. With over 1,000 participants, nearly half were parents and guardians throughout the district. Of those, nearly a third have children in grades K through 3, followed by high schoolers in grades 9 through 12. Faculty and staff made up a third of the responses, with community members and students making up the rest of the participants. Next slide. Stakeholders from each school, as well as Mount Vernon residents, participated in the survey. Mount Vernon High School and STEAM Academy made up the most responses, but we had a good number of responses from each other school. Thank you to everyone for taking the time to assist us as we worked to develop our budget. Your input is so important to making sure that our district supports everyone. Next slide. Our first question about changes to programs and services garnered a lot of responses with extra support for students, whether it's with extracurricular activities or after-school programs for special education and gifted students. Many responses indicated a desire for more ways to support our children. Tutoring and academic support in math and reading also fall under that category. Improvements to technology, equipment, and building maintenance were also suggested by several survey takers. Smaller class sizes and increased staffing were also listed as suggested improvements. Next slide. We also asked the community what the school district should prioritize in the survey. The top 5 responses were reading specialists, mental health services, technology, building upkeep, and playground equipment, and math specialists. These priorities show that our community wants to see a big push for math and reading improvements, while also focusing on the social-emotional well-being of our students. Technology is also such an important part of the learning experience these days, and it is clear that we have to continue investing in ways to meet our students' needs. And of course, having a safe building to learn in with a well-maintained facilities is a major area of importance. Next slide. Overall, we saw a lot of variation in the priorities of our community. and you could see here how the remaining areas were ranked. There are so many different ways a district needs to support its students, and these are just a few of the areas that we want to make sure we are strong in. Next slide. Students spend a majority of the day at school, and we want to make sure that we have high-quality facilities for them to learn and grow. There were several specific concerns and needs that were brought up in the survey, such as functionality of locks, which we have been and continue to take close looks at as we mitigate the issues and problems in real time. Next slide. Educational programs and services were a big theme in the responses to the survey, with a majority of the responses listing reading and math specialists as most important. We strive to provide a diverse offering of academic opportunities for our students, and that will be a guiding principle for how we develop this budget. Next slide. Teachers and staff are so vital to our students' success, and we saw a lot of responses about how we can improve our support for the people who do such important work, the most important work in our schools. When I came into the district, one of my top priorities was signing fair contracts for our bargaining units. That commitment hasn't changed, and we will definitely continue to prioritize that in the upcoming budget. Next slide. Extracurricular activities, including athletics, arts, clubs, and after-school programs were also mentioned in many responses. We want to provide all of our students with positive growth opportunities inside and outside of school, and extracurricular activities are an important way of doing that. As I mentioned earlier, technology was seen and is seen as a major area of improvement, especially due to its importance in a student's academic success. All our students should have devices, and we are working towards making sure that all students have a working, updated, functioning device. We must develop a budget that ensures our students have functional technology that can enhance their education even further. As we develop the budget, we will continue to analyze all of our options for technology improvements. Next slide. Overall, this survey showed that there are many areas that we need to be investing in for next year's budget to set ourselves up for success. Many of these were mentioned earlier, but here are a few areas of investments that the community called for in this question. As we go through the budget development process, we will go back to this survey to ensure that we are meeting the needs of our entire community. Next slide. And finally, we asked the community what other information they would like us to know to help develop the budget. We got similar responses to our previous questions, highlighting the work that we need to do over these next couple of months to meet the need of our students, staff, and community. We saw calls for transparency, accountability, and community involvement in budget decisions, and I am in complete agreement. We want to do everything we can to support our community, and your feedback on our budget is vital. Next slide. We will keep the community updated as our budget process continues, and you can see the remaining dates on our budget calendar here. They are also on our website. These are the dates from April to May 8th for the next one. Sorry. Next slide. And finally, in May, we will send our budget newsletter to the community and receive absentee and early mail ballots. On Tuesday, May 19th, the vote for the budget and trustee election will be held. I encourage everyone to mark their calendars and come out to vote. If necessary, the revote will be held on June 16th. Then the new fiscal year will begin, and we will begin on developing the next year's budget on day 1, July 1st, 2026. Thank you again to the entire Mount Vernon community for your feedback. It is truly appreciated. And are there any questions from the Board of Trustees?
Vice President. Vice President Mitchell.
Okay, so I have two questions. Um, so we've been dealing with the laptop situation. I know you mentioned technology. Can the board please have some sort of manifest so we can see where we stand at this point, considering it's already January? We know that there were still students missing laptops as recent as last month.
Yes.
Um,
So we have a technology presentation that will be given right after Dr. Strickland's report. So if we can hold that until that presentation, appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Okay, great, thank you.
The only other question I had was, so we've heard surveys done in the school district in the past, and we've seen those type of percentages of replies, but we never got a clear answer. Like, how many parents, stakeholders, families actually did participate in the survey beyond the percentages? Because you can have 70 people out of over 1,000 parents, and you can have 70 people reply, and all of a sudden you get percentages like 80%, 70%.
Yes.
But that doesn't really account for, can we get an idea how many people?
So
On this first, I think on Dr. Strickland's first slide, it indicates the actual numbers
Yep.
of individuals that actually participated. Dr. Strickland, would you like to give a
Yes.
breakdown?
So the number of staff, which we definitely sent out blasts to the staff, that was the total was 300.
Can we go back to that first slide, please?
The second slide.
Second slide? Thank you.
We had 331 participants. Slide number 2, yes. And our parents and guardians were 488. And apologies in advance, we definitely kept sending out robocalls and blasts and text messages encouraging individuals to fill out the survey because, again, it's not just my budget. Yes, I put the budget forward, but it is the budget of the entire community.
Yeah, thank you. Because I just want, it was worth it to spend just a couple of minutes just visualizing it, because when we went through it, I wanted to see this. This is something we could have used prior. This is very helpful so that we could get an idea just how many people. And we really need more folks to respond to these surveys when they come out, please, because this is how we get things to discuss when we're here on this day, so that we can give it the attention it deserves.
I'll have a follow-up comment.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions from other trustees? Dr. Strickland, you have anything else you need to add?
No, I just want to completely agree with you. In the future, I want to go beyond surveys and actually do participatory budgeting. That's something that I instituted in my last district, where we actually talk about, once we have a new mission and vision, once we have clearly cut outline goals that are accepted and understood by the community, then we start putting weight onto what things I need to prioritize. So I want to take it to the next level. You know, we do a lot of surveys around here, and I know it can be cumbersome, but this is my, seventh month in the district, and I want to see it go beyond just asking for survey advice.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Strickland. We now have a technology department update. Mr. Ramirez?
Good evening, President of the Board, Vice President, trustees, Superintendent Dr. Demarius Strickland. It's my pleasure to do this presentation on technology update and the work that we've been doing to advance the teaching and learning and bringing equity across Mount Vernon City School District. Next slide. So the technology department has several priorities, but we are now focused on the equitable access to technology. We know the problem that we have with the deficits and the subpar technologies that we still have presently in the hands of our students, and we've been working strongly on trying to address those deficits and bring new devices to the students, repair the ones that we can repair, so we are also responsible in terms of the tax money that we use. And all of this is with the goal of having instructional readiness. Instructional readiness because devices are for the instructional purpose. It's to support the work of the teachers in the classroom, it's to support the instruction of the students, and to promote teaching and learning to in the next level. We also work constantly on terms of cybersecurity and data privacy protections. As you probably know, during the holidays and all these end of the regular year, many attacks, phishing attacks, were detected and neutralized in our network. And this has been happening not only internally, but also externally. And the individuals, you can see that even coming in as a text message that has a link or some sort of information that you click, and then you get trapped into the phishing schemes, right? And at the same time, working with our technology committee sponsored by the board, we've been working on regulatory compliance. We are in preparation with our instructional technology plan for the year 26-29. That will be our long-range technology plan and replacement of devices. Next. Some of the achievements that we accomplished in this first portion of the school year was to improve the teaching and learning of the one-to-one learning environment. We found that during the time of the PSATs, SATs, we didn't have enough devices, so we worked in collaboration with our central administration, and we identified where those needs were, specifically in grades 11 and 12, and provide devices. We repowered the devices that we could, but we noticed that there was a deficit. And this deficit goes back to the times of COVID, when the district acquired equipment that was in a configuration that was not the most efficient for the use and instruction. We also were able, with the support of the board and the administration, to purchase devices for students in grades pre-K and 4. So we now have a full implementation of iPads in the classroom in grades pre-K all the way to grade 4. This where the last purchase was 1,500 devices covering 3 grade levels. And we also working on continuing promoting the exposure of our students not only to iPads, but also to laptops and productivity software like Microsoft Office. And we are working on an implementation of Google for Education with our superintendent. Next. Cybersecurity and data privacy is our concern. We always try to be in compliance and be proactive in working on defense of our data in our network. We follow the NIST standards. That's the National Institute of Standards and Technology. And happy to report there are 5 major standards that we've been following in terms of detection, neutralization of the risk. And right now, we have a secure software vetting process for our instructional software and our network support software. We currently try to exercise the best practices in data protection, and through a partnership with our CTE program and the high school, Mr. Simmons, we start developing a partnership to identify in our student population the future local experts on cybersecurity that we can actually hire at one point in the district. So the goal is to basically empower that program to produce the technicians of the future for our school district. Next. Next slide. Other activities that involve the data privacy and security. Hold on. It's basically the campaigns that we do in the email. Our staff receive emails where basically we are testing, identifying basic trends in terms of the domain name or anything that could be a phishing attack. So they get this training, and if they click on any of these campaigns, they will be directed to a self-service video that will instruct them on how to prevent that to be an issue in the future. We also have enhanced email verification services in place, and we continue doing staff training as we go during the school year. There is a rapid incident response that we establish that allow us to actually neutralize any attacks. Every day there is a cyber security, cyber guardian that we have in our staff that goes and reviews everything massively to prevent any damage into our network. Next. So this instructional readiness is basically being prepared for computer-based testing as well. As you know, our incoming assessments is going to be all in computers, grades 3 to 8. Right now, we have already covered grades pre-K to 4 with iPads, and we are acquiring, with the assistance of our business office, new devices to provide for the remaining grades, so everybody will be ready for the computer-based testing. And we're not forgetting our secondary schools. We're going to prioritize attending to our secondary schools as well. We're strengthening our infrastructure, Wi-Fi, access, and also connectivity, so we can have the readiness that we need for computer-based testing. There is coordination with the school leadership in this effort, because there are sometimes areas in a school that during the implementation of Wi-Fi or connectivity could have not been part of that process. At that time, probably they considered that a lunch area or a lunch room was not an area of use for instruction or for assessments. And now that we need to have power and connectivity in those areas, we're identifying those locations and attending to those needs. Next. So what is coming? What is coming is we are acquiring 1,000 new student devices. These are Dell laptops that will be ready for deployment at the end of this month, in time to be ready for computer-based testing, in time to attend to our population in secondary schools. These devices are prioritized for the grade 9 students, so the students will receive a new device, return the device that they have, we will recover what we can recover, repurpose and repower, and we will cover all the students in the 3 high schools in grade 9. The remaining devices will be used to attend to the deficits that we identify in the schools. Very important, all of this is basically through the efforts of continuing using what we have that can be used. We don't want to basically dispose anything that we can actually reuse. And it's a process of training as well for our technicians, so they can actually see the different ways that they can actually attend to these needs on repowering devices. Our focus is on equity and continuity, business continuity. Next. The last part is the instructional technology plan that we need to prepare for the state to approve. This is a multi-year strategic technology roadmap where we're basically going to put in place our replacement plan of devices, all the finances that need to be in place, how we want to approach that investment. As of right now, after this purchase of the 1,000 Dell laptops, we should be closing the gap severely. So there will be probably need for a replacement plan, but it's not going to happen immediately. So we'll get a little gap of time to actually recover and replenish what we need to do in our fleet. All of this is in alignment with the State Education Department goals or the portrait of the graduate in the state of New York, and at the same time also the Inspire New York principles. So our focus is on teaching and learning and innovation. Next. As I mentioned before, the last item that we have is basically working in governance and planning. It is crucial that we submit the instructional technology plan by April 15 to our local regional information center so they can do the review and provide feedback. There are several aspects of this survey that need to be completed. When you get a copy of this PowerPoint presentation, you will see that in blue, it shows the draft ITP. That's basically the actual survey that the state requires. That is not a comprehensive plan, it's just the survey. The comprehensive plan is what we're working with our committee of technology sponsored by the board. NYSCD, New York State Education Department, will have to approve this plan by June 30th, 2026. And we also developing SOPs, which is standard operating procedures for the hardware, the software, and the access to to specific areas or via requests on work orders. And we want to ensure that we are all in compliance, but at the same time, we expedite their attention to the needs of our teachers and students. Next. Thank you. Any questions?
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Trustees have questions? We can start on this side. Trustee Peterson, did you?
Thank you, Mr. Ramirez, for your presentation. My biggest concern, and I have voiced this with the superintendent, is that now it's January. We are midway through the school year. I can speak for Mount Vernon High School, we still have students who do not have devices. We have students who are sitting in classrooms with no device. We have students who are sitting in classrooms with devices that do not work properly, and it is causing a major issue in the classrooms at the high school. And here we are, and it's January. So while I appreciate this presentation, for me, it's very frustrating to see a classroom where it is now, what are we, 4 or 5 months into the school year, and these students do not have devices. It is unacceptable for me, and as a parent, as a taxpayer, as a board trustee, it's unacceptable.
Thank you for your comment, and I definitely agree with you. It's unacceptable that we had that situation, but as you know, there were several financial aspects of this that prevent us to do larger purchases. We were able to work out this recently with our new business official. There was a transition also in the business office. So right now, we are acquiring 1,000 devices that will address not only that deficit, but also provide with new devices for our secondary students in 9th grade in the 3 high schools. I will keep you posted on how we go with the implementation in the first.
Question, do the iPads that the pre-K through 4 have, do they have keyboards with them?
The students in grades 3 and 4 have keyboards. The early grades, the recommendation was to do touch-centric devices. So they don't have keyboards, they have the virtual keyboard in the device.
So now, is that the best decision to have while we are struggling with students coming
It
out of
is.
COVID and struggling with cognitive, with, fine motor skills? Is that the best decision to have pre-K first, second?
So some of these implementations predate me, I will say, and I did not actually pay attention to the fact that students in the lower grades, under grade 3, did not have the keyboards. I have been focusing, going into classrooms and,
Secondary.
looking at what's happening. And now hearing that, we need to make a change because they should be typing early. And in my previous district, they had keyboards on all of the devices, regardless.
Let me just make sure that everybody gets an opportunity to weigh in. I saw Vice President Mitchell had his hand up.
Excuse me. Excuse me. I'm gonna actually just piggyback off of Trustee Peterson. She hit it on the head. I'm sorry. Just from that's speaking from the high school, STEAM. That's our technology school. We got students in there with no computers, and we're talking as recent as, I don't know, maybe yesterday. And I'm thinking if we were to, will we be able to pack this room full of kids who can say, I don't have a device that works? So that's an issue for me, and we've been talking about this since the beginning of the school year. So I know you just mentioned budgetary confinements, but I'm going to say this. We passed the budget last year. I sat here, right? That would say that you were aware, and this is before Dr. Joseph, you were aware, and there was a budget presented to us that we didn't make sure that we had funding in place to make sure the kids had unbroken and functioning laptops and devices so they could learn this year. But you were involved in making sure that you put numbers in. You have to submit numbers for what
Correct.
you need to meet
Correct.
your goals, right?
Correct.
So you got to understand where my frustration is as a taxpayer and as a board member sitting here because I passed the budget, and I feel like there's no way that I know we got to go in and look at it granular to a good extent. This is unacceptable. I'm going to just repeat, unacceptable. We're in January. School is over in less than 2 marking periods, and we got students who walking around with laptops that the hinges are hanging off. Unacceptable. So now I need to see, number one, I'd like a matrix, and I'm gonna this request is to the technology committee. Can we please have can we take a poll of the board members who'd like to see a manifest of how many students per building are still missing laptops? Dr. Strickland, is
we
that
have it.
something? We have this?
We have it, and we can provide it to you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that sounds like before
we've
I
been
get.
working in preparation to resolve the issue. And
That sounds
look,
like I can
acknowledge,
have that before I have coffee tomorrow. Is that what you're saying?
yes, I acknowledge the concern, and look, it's unacceptable. I'm not going to deny that. However, as we submitted our budgets, the budgets were also modified because of the needs and the restrictions that we had in the finances. It's not something that was planned or not planned. It's basically the availability of funds that we have. And we are resolving the issue. And we've been looking for ways to actually resolve it in a meaningful way and with responsibility as the money is coming from the taxpayers. And I appreciate your comment.
Yeah, I'm typing on here now because I'm sending you the email. I'm going to send it to the
Perfect.
right people.
No
Okay,
problem.
so Dr. Strickland has a follow-up, and then I'm going to hear from Trustee Scott, and then I'd like to hear from our student, our ex officio member, Trustee Adoro.
So just two follow-ups. One, regarding Vice President Mitchell's concern, definitely understand where you're coming from. I will say that one of the things that have not been carefully planned are maintenance plans. So with computers, they get old. And nowhere was it accounted for that you have to replace the fleet that first came in a long time ago. So we had to find monies in the budget to actually get the 1,000 to update part of the fleet. And as we move forward, we have to continue to do that process. It can't be a one and done. And I've asked the technology department to have that plan in place. And then for Trustee Peterson, I do want to thank you for your looking into the legislation. Myself and the council actually did talk about our plan for allowing students that have a functioning device. It would have to go through a stringent piece, approval process, because we don't want to open up the walls to, well, this is my computer. And we know that cell phones have been an issue in our schools. So that takes time, and do know that recommendation was very much noted, and looking to move forward with next steps.
Trustee Scott?
Thank you very much. Dr. Strickland took something that I was going to say in regards to reviewing what is available and upgrading. So that was definitely something, because that's something that we've talked about in our technology committee. What we've also talked about in our technology committee is, because one of the things that happens when I've been able to go to the various schools and visit is I see technology, computers not being used. So they're just in rooms and not being used. So I'm saying, why don't we take that, because I see that's one of the things in terms of remaining devices allocated to the schools, and bring it to those students who don't have it, right? Versus just having it just laying in a school dormant and not being used. Check it first to make sure that it's something that is usable, and then give it out to the students that do not have, or ones that aren't working, substitute it for the ones that are just sitting in schools not being used. So that's something that we've talked about, and we've had some very hard meetings, right? So we've talked about things that need to happen with respect to technology going forward, and strong maintenance plan was definitely one of them, because we need to make sure that when, as you said, trustees, not waiting until January to think about giving a student a device when the school year is almost over. So we're hoping that we will get on course with that, and we'll see how things go. But I just wanted to state that in regards to my comment. So thank you.
Trustee Adora, do you have any comment from the student side?
First, I'd like to say Happy New Year to everyone. Yes, actually, I do have a comment. Honestly, this issue has been there since last year. The only difference between this year and last year is that the new law was passed, and phones and personal devices were taken away. So last year, instead of the people using the broken laptops, they used their personal laptops. And this year, honestly, is people walking laptopless. We have students' laptops being taken away because, well, we can't have it in school and other reasons. And I have people complaining to me, and parents and other issues. So yeah, I can't do anything personally as a student, but as the student trustee, I will advocate for advocate for all this. Thank you.
Do we have any other comments from other trustees? Okay, I do have a couple of questions. I believe that we actually voted in April of last year in order to replenish the computers that we had from COVID that we knew were expiring of a 5-year period, right? So my question is, when did the order go in for us to actually secure these computers, and why is it taking so long for them to arrive?
So what we discussed in April was actually the adoption of the iPads, and that was the first attempt to address those deficits with those devices, and we did. But there was a large number of these devices that were still present in the fleet, and those are the ones that were coming with these issues with buffering and slowness and all of that. So this will be probably the moment that we actually reduce or probably eliminate the gap for sure, because this is 1,000 devices that will come into that fleet and our inventory control. The efforts and the support that I got from the board to do this, I appreciate it. I think that all the students can recognize that work is difficult with the financial difficulties that we have. But I basically, I gotta recognize that we had the support from you. And we continue that work, continue the preparation, we continue looking at every area that needs improvement, but responsibly, because we don't want to dispose of devices that we can recover, that we can repower. And those that cannot be, definitely they will be disposed.
And do we also have computers that are in some of the schools that may even have computer labs that are inoperable and students don't have access to?
There were situations where we have computer labs that are, not maintained, and that's the maintenance plans that we've been talking about. And these devices could be recovered, repowered, and those could be computer labs that could serve the purpose of the assessments, could serve the purpose of the instruction. Since we implemented in COVID time the one-to-one initiative push because of the emergency, that was something that was not planned to that extent. But now we already have all the experience, and we have the devices that we can attend to that.
And I guess my question is, do you have the support that you need in order to ensure that all devices are operating when they do break down, that we have someone that's actually going to maintain them, and also whether or not you have enough people to distribute to ensure that all of our students have the devices that they need, as well as the staff?
Yes, and also we implemented these purchases with the care, with the maintenance included. So that means if we have an issue with any of these devices, they will be replaced in the window 3 years, and it's all embedded in the same cost. So the maintenance that we need is basically for those devices that will be out of warranty or out of that protection with the maintenance, and we have the resources now to do that.
Trustee McDonough, and then Trustee Mitchell. Oh, you have.
Thank you, Madam President. Thanks for this presentation. I guess I was curious about the cost per unit for a laptop and the useful life of a laptop. Do you have that information?
The cost per Dell laptop is $580 in this purchase, which is
$580.
very, very substantially reduced. Working with our business official, we were able to do a competition between different vendors. Lenovo came out with a very good model and price, and Dell beat them to stay with us, but taking probably a loss, because Dell is probably the larger brand that we have in the long-standing brand in the relationship with the district. So when you do a request for proposals, the competition benefits the end user and the client, in this case, the district. So we got a very good reduction on the cost without sacrificing configuration.
That sounds high to me, 580 for a laptop.
Is a portion of that aidable?
It's kind of expensive.
But is a portion of, I think, Trustee McDonough, I think a portion of it is aidable,
Aidable,
reimbursable. So can we speak to what that looks like, and then I'll have Trustee Middleton ask her
The
question.
Just a quick follow-up. I found that resolution back in April. So it looks like it's a 5-year agreement with Southern Westchester BOCES for $1 million.
Correct.
So plus 160,000 for interest over that
That
period
was
of
the
time.
IPA for the 1,500 iPads,
Okay, so
So
$1
that
million
was
for 1,500 iPads.
1,500. And
$1 million
300
for 1,500 iPads.
That 1,500 iPads cover 3 grade levels, basically. And that's what we are now, pre-K to 4.
Okay.
And we had also devices that we purchased to replenish, laptops that were in the hands of teachers and stuff like that. All instructional.
Okay.
That was the priority. And just to round up on the terms of the BOCES aid, the expectation is that every year when we look at the BOCES purchases, it increases the aidable portion. So the expectation is that these purchases will be aidable probably at a rate of 60%, 65% in the best case scenario.
I just want to point out that 1,500 laptops for $1 million is about $660 each. That's not a good deal. To say that it's aidable just suggests to me that we're wasting taxpayer money. That's just not. That's like the golden toilet that NASA is buying. Oh, it doesn't matter. But, it's aidable. That's not a reason to be overpaying. I mean, if you want, we can find someone else to purchase these things, or we need to go to Southern Westchester BOCES and say, what are you doing? I mean, what is going on?
Just to clarify, it's 1,500 iPads plus 300 laptops that were in that IPA. You can look at it,
Okay, plus
the
300,
attachment,
plus
yeah.
300 laptops. Okay.
including the insurance and the accidental damage insurance and all of that. The cost of the
Maintenance?
iPads.
What about the maintenance? They do
If
that
I
as
may,
well?
if I may clarify, the iPads were cost at 475 about. That was the cost, including the Apple Care.
Let,
was
I'll
less
co-
than
I can
allowed.
circle back to you, Dr. McDonough. Trustee Middleton, you had a.
I don't particularly have a question, but I just want to say that our students are number one priority in this district. And sometimes I think we get it all mixed up. I have sat here, this is my third year, and we've been singing the same song with different words, with the same people in the same position, and our students are on the back burner. And we need to make it happen because we bring everybody else in. And everybody else can get money with percentages added to what they get. But our students are still sitting on the back burner with no laptops that are working. And if they are, they're sitting somewhere with nobody caring enough to make them work or to be where they should be. So I want to say we need to make this happen. It's January 2026, as Trustee Mitchell said. And there's no reason why our students should not be ahead when it comes to we are Mount Vernon and we are like down here compared to other school districts when it comes to our students being ahead technologically. So technologically speaking, we got to make it happen because what are we in position for? Getting a paycheck? I guess I'm talking to myself.
I agree.
Trustee Mitchell.
So I'm just going to say, you mentioned we know the testing is happening. Our students are already in a place where they're, how many of them are not going to be prepared, right? Testing is happening. We closed 3 buildings, and in those buildings, those students had laptops and devices. Are you telling me that we didn't salvage, recirculate those, or are you telling me that 3 buildings worth of laptops? Let me hold on a second. I see you ready. You're telling me that 3 buildings worth of laptops and devices, they were all broken? How did with the budgetary confinements that you mentioned, how was the leftover, where are those devices, number one? That's number one. But number two, how did that, all those leftover devices, how did that not somehow impact that budget confinement that you mentioned? I understand.
Let me clarify that part. The students didn't leave. The students were reassigned to other schools. So the students kept the devices in most cases. However, there were some instances where devices were left at the original school. They were collected by somebody and then were staying in there in a closet. We've been identifying all of those thanks to the geolocation that we have on these devices. But that's a process. And that process has been happening since we started the school year, trying to recover what we could recover. What we find ourselves is that the 3 schools closed, but you didn't have anything remaining or left over. It was the students went with those devices to a new location. What we have is whatever was in terms of desktop computers, but that's basically the main offices, the administrative part, not really the student devices. The student devices stay with them. Age devices, subpar devices, that was the reality that we found.
Okay. Trustee McDonough, did you have something else you wanted to? All right. Does anyone else have a comment or a question? Dr. Strickland, did you want to have a follow-up?
Just my follow-up. I definitely echo the sentiments it's hard for myself and the team to go into these schools, and we go into the schools, and I'm there for multiple hours, and I see, broken devices. I see smart boards that are not operable, some that are on the walls, and it really does need a comprehensive review. It needed a comprehensive review, but what we are really doing is just trying to be responsive. I was just looking at my list. Every Friday, our principals send me updates about what's going on in their schools, and we're trying to be very responsive to what the needs are. That's why we were finding how we were going to get to replace these old devices where they are like dilapidated. Literally, I've seen them, and it is hurtful to be in that situation. But as I stated before, the maintenance plan was not strong. So that's the first thing that I identified. I said, in previous districts, there was a strong maintenance plan. Once those students graduated from being a senior, those laptops are gone. You know what I mean? Because they're no longer usable. I mean, many of us, it's like a leased car. Every 5 years, we get another one. So you have to do that, even especially, when students are tugging a laptop from place to place. But nonetheless, I do know that change is definitely coming. I take all your notes, and we are working diligently to fix this. And that is one of my budget priorities. I've had that in since probably October, and all of your comments are understood and appreciated.
Okay. Any other
you.
questions or comments before we move forward? Okay, thank you, Mr. Ramirez.
Thank you, Ms. Marable. Thank you.
We will now hear the treasurer's report for November 2025. Dr. Joseph?
Good evening, Dr. Marable, Board of Education members, and the community, Dr. Strickland and Dr. Wilkins. That being presented to you is the cash flow for the month of November. So for the month of November, we begin with a balance of $21,789,623.34. And when you go down that line, we have property taxes that we receive, $1.1 million, sales tax, $264,000. We got state aid, $556,000, and all the way down total receipts, $8,365,494.45. And combined with what's been received, what was received for the month of November as a disbursement, these are monies that we expended through payroll and or accounts payable. Warrants, the payables were $7,327,623, and payroll totaled $10,011,200, and we had debt service $1.8 million, and we had some interfund transferred, $389,375 for total disbursements of $19,615,297. The ending balance on cash on hand was $10,539,820, and we had in reserve $479,925, which give us an operating cash balance at the end of November of $10,059,895.41. Thank you.
Do we have any questions on the treasurer's report for November?
Thank you.
Trustee McDonough?
Just a question, the December through June, are those the numbers from last year? Is that what they are?
No, this is
The budget? Or,
this is projected. December onwards.
oh, this is like a pro forma?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yes.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Dr. Joseph. We will move on to, are there any comments from the board thus far? Any questions or comments before we move to human resources? Okay. Hearing none, we are going to look at human resources 4.1. And I just want to just share with the public that the board receives this information through board docs, and that we are able to review this information in advance. And so if there are any questions, pending questions, then we will pull any of the resolutions so that we can address them. But if there aren't any pending questions, I don't want to belabor the resolutions by going through them individually. You can see what they are here, 4.1 through 4.11. So after your reviewing, are there any questions, any resolution 4.1 through 4.11 that you would like to pull so that we can have further discussion?
Max?
May we have it on the board, please? Excuse me? No, we're on resolutions, board docs. I'm going to give you just a few moments just to review to ensure that no one has any item that they'd like to pull. And just for the, for notification, is that these items, if we don't have any questions, they will be moved at the end of our meeting. We will vote to move them to a consent agenda, and we will vote on them at our business meeting on January the 27th, just so you know what's actually happening. So there are no questions? Okay, Trustee Middleton. Okay, we're on 4.
Oh, I'm sorry.
When
I'm
we
ahead
get to
of
5,
myself.
that's okay. That's all right. Okay. Okay, so hearing none on 4.11, we will, she wants to vote now to move to, well, at the end. Okay, so we will move on to section 5, curriculum and instruction, 5.1 through 5.7. Trustee Middleton, do you know which item you'd like to? Okay.
5.1, the Lehman College Plus program.
Yes.
Is that in addition to, if we still doing this too, the Mercy College 2-year program where they should receive a 2-year certificate, and this is just, no, it's different? Okay, so
Can you
what's the max
elaborate?
credits that they can get if it's, it said 3 credits, right? In an acceleration program? It's 3 credits that they can get?
Yes,
course.
per
What's the
class,
max
per
of
course,
credits?
yes. I have to get back to you with the maximum amount of credits. I'm not quite sure.
All right, I just want to know, thanks.
Okay. Any other questions or any items on section 5, curriculum and instruction, 5.1 through 5.7? I'll give you a moment. You have, oh, Dr. Strickland, you have a comment?
I just wanted to let the trustees know, if you look at 5.2, you see the pre-kindergarten program after school was started. That program, that grant had been accepted by New York State, but we continue to have problems with our other ESSA funding with Title I. We have since resubmitted it, made sure it was organized, made sure that it connects to the SEPs. Meetings have been happening with each and every single principal to talk about the programs that they want to do after school, and you should see something at the board meeting with incorporating schools into the after-school program. or having after-school programs as well.
Okay, thank you. We will move on to Section 6, Student Personnel Services. Are there any questions on 6.1? Hearing none, we will move on to Section 7, Business Office, items 7.1 through 7.4. Any questions or anything you'd like to address or discuss? Which one? Trustee Middleton?
Can I just get clarity on 7.1, Dr. Joseph? Read the tax proceedings, the refund pay.
Dr. Strickland, you'd like Dr. Joseph to respond to that, or?
Yes, Dr. Joseph, can you respond to Trustee Middleton's question?
Thank you.
Sorry.
7.1. These are, I guess, believe they're court cases where they have repealed their taxes, and there has been a decision by the court that stipulates what we must reimburse. We've had these a couple of times before, but Dr. Joseph, would you like to please elaborate on that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, these are called tax certiorari's. This is when you have an organization or a business or a home where a certain amount of money is assessed on the property, and then the people grieve the tax, and then he gets a reduction, and that's the reduction that's being reflected here to the court cases.
Any other questions on 7.1 through 7.4? Okay. Hearing none and having no items being pulled, we are going to go to 8 items, move the items to consent agenda. And so I'm going to entertain a vote to authorize to send items to consent agenda. This is item 8.1. May I have a motion, please? It's been moved and properly seconded that we will move these items to the consent agenda. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you. We do have some items that are time sensitive that we do need to vote on. So you see them in section 9. The first one is the adoption of the New York State minimum wage. It went into effect on January 1. So we don't want to belabor that so that we can ensure that payroll is not delayed. We also had the 9.2, which is an establishment of remittance of payment to the Mount Vernon Public Library. I will be recusing myself on that particular vote. 9.3 is a general release agreement in connection with an employee. So you have that information in content. And then the other item is for independent hardship waiver for all districts. So if I may, I'd like to have a vote on item 9.1. If we can have a motion. Motion, please, for 9.1. May I have any discussion? It's been moved and properly seconded that we adopt New York State minimum wage increase for 2026. All in favor? Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Vice President Mitchell, would you mind running 9.2 for us, please? I will recuse myself due to the fact that my sister is the president of the Mount Vernon Public Library Board.
Sure.
Just call for a motion. It's just for a motion. Call for a motion.
Yeah, can I have a motion for 9.2, establishment of semi-annual remittance schedule for Mount Vernon Public Library tax collection?
Second.
Hearing fully motion and seconded. Can I have a vote?
All in
Any
favor?
discussion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
Thank you, Trustee Mitchell, Vice President Mitchell. So we will do 9.3 and 9.4. May I have a motion for 9.3 and 9.4?
Can,
May I have a second?
oh,
May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? It's been moved and properly seconded. Are there all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. What is he, what are you, what are we? We're only showing the resolution. Oh, well,
okay.
that's it. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we did.
We're good.
We did it, yeah.
Okay.
9.3
Right.
and 9.4 were together.
Okay, we do have some items for executive session. So, if we would have the clerk to read those items, and then we will have a vote on whether or not we will enter into exec.
Okay. Can I have a motion, please, to enter into executive session for the purpose of discussing pending litigation, the financial history of a particular person or corporation, or matters leading to the appointment, employment, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or corporation, and to receive legal advice on a pending matter. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
All in favor? Any opposed? Abstain? Okay, motion carries.
We are now entering into executive session. Just for the public, just to remind you that during our work sessions, we do not have public comment. We will have public comment during our January 27th meeting. And please remember to sign up with our district clerk by noon on the day of January 27th if you would like to comment before the board. We will not return to this room after executive session. After executive session, we will have a training with our board. So we want to just say thank you for coming and have a fabulous evening. Thank you.
Thank you.